That's the central tower of the archive. Too marvelous a piece of engineering to be in the hands of heretics, you ask me.
What could possibly be keeping the repair personnel so long? Oh, greetings. By any chance, did you happen to encounter the repair personnel I dispatched to Resistor Bank 2789B12? Our new JTY-1030 resistor banks are built with enough durability to suffer through a tremendous amount of misuse. But the brutish handling by the Protectorate is too much for it. The misuse is causing moisture uptake, which causes the resistors to give off more heat. In the snow, that means more moisture, which means even more heat. I'm sure you can observe that the problem is cyclical in nature. I don't suppose you'd be willing to aid me in fixing this? It's down in the valley just southwest of the archive. The heat has liquefied all the snow off the glass surface. It is an easy location to observe. Ursopods, Protectorate forces, rogue scrappers, blizzards, mantisaurs, maybe even Auntie's choice forces. Truly a smorgasbord of unfortunate options. In the short term, it's wreaking havoc with the weather and causing small, localized blizzards. Long term, the archive would suffer irreparable damage to multiple systems. Undoubtedly, this would reduce its maximum operations per millisecond. Obviously, this is unacceptable. I loathe that, for now, our actions may aid the Protectorate, but we must protect the archive. Oh, this is most appreciated. Unfortunately, the previous repair personnel took the only repair kit I had on hand. I'll mark the coordinates of the resistor bank on your map, but locating the repair personnel will be up to you. If you find him, you find the kit. I hope. Otherwise, the repair will be most difficult. I'll guide you.
Not the most hospitable climate. Keep an eye on your fingers and toes.
I find your proposed time leisure. Unaccountably so. But going any faster grossly increases the threat of collapse. Burying us beneath the snow benefits no one. So long as we are operating within the statistical parameters given to us. I see absolutely no reason to delay. Pick up the pace.
Can't talk. Calculating an inverse complex sine function in my head.
Don't bother conversating unless you're prepared to cite your sources.
Takes all sorts.
Have you at least determined the cause of the error?
We're presently observing a ceasefire with Auntie's choice, but its duration may be subject to sudden reversal. Would hate for you to get caught in any crossfire. Gathering data on the enemy's movements and behavior. Blizzards raise the degree of difficulty, but that's our problem, not yours. Cloister has been a difficult front, and losing the archive, first to the invaders and now to the Protectorate, has made it even more painful. Never mind the rifts. If you're looking for a way to help us out, I recommend heading to Laplace's garden. Follow this path and you can't miss it. Only the finest place on this ice ball. Words aren't sufficient to capture its many quality attributes. Best you observe it yourself. Avalanche collapsed part of the tunnel to the garden, so the safest path is along the cliffside here. Mind your step.
strike me as someone with a very small body of published work.
I have too much on my mind for idle numerical chit-chat.
But that rift near the archive has destabilized. Halt! The Oracle Laureate sent ahead to expect someone matching your description. However, he said nothing about admitting questionable allies. Cultist. Agitators are not permitted inside Laplace's garden. Your companion will have to wait outside.
How'd you like to find your insides waiting outside?
I find that an improbable outcome were we to engage in violent conflict. The Oracle Laureate is our foremost seer, excluding the presiding bishop herself. He oversees the Department of Predictive Analysis, and in so doing keeps the Order on course. Is this some kind of test? No participants or observants are permitted to discuss Laplace's garden outside its boundaries. You'll discover all you need once inside, after ridding yourself of your problematic auxiliary, of course. Was there ambiguity in my previous warning?
I'm certain as soon as I talk to Severin, I'll be able to figure this all out. No matter how I turn this over in my mind, I find no answers. Perhaps their faith failed them, and they succumbed to greed, sold us out for some measly bits. I can't, but I'm fairly confident he wouldn't. If he did, he'll die like the rest of them. Then I'd truly be at a loss, with no idea how to get back in the Dawn's good graces. If we're so deeply infiltrated, I'm certain our leader will have gone to ground.
What are you doing here? Hey! This way.
Hey, Commander. Something tells me the Order won't be keen on letting an enemy soldier walk through their gates. Reckon I oughta step away?
This is your last warning. If you attempt to gain entry with potential troublemakers in tow, we will have no choice but to fire upon them. And you!
Commander, I'm glad you're just as keen on aligning with Auntie as I am. It's the right choice. What you see is what you get. I suspect the Order would have given you the runaround on a deal. They're nice enough folk, reasonable or like, but they ain't equipped to rule. You saw how they could barely manage a refugee camp, let alone hold the archive. Sure, the folk here don't seem to trust Auntie's choice. But give it time. They'll see the difference between freedom and complete domination soon enough. Just as Tausetti did. No, but I have to hope. Listen, normally I'd take issue with one person playing Kingmaker. That is to say, you and especially the Earth Directorate. But time's too short and the stakes are too high for tribalism. There'll be enough time for that later. For now, we need to ally with someone who can defeat the Protectorate and close the rifts. So whatever you decide, I'll support you. We should move on, unless you've got something for me. If you say so. Try not to get into too much trouble without me.
Lovely day for a coup, dear. The only surprise about the Protectorate's consul usurping the Sovereign's authority is it did not happen sooner. May all our endeavors yield expected results.
Agent, I have a message for you. On behalf of the Order of the Ascendant and her impermeable wisdom, the presiding bishop Ruth Bassar, welcome to Laplace's garden. The presiding bishop is presently indisposed, but I've been instructed to direct you to the Artificer Laureate for whatever pressing matter has brought you to the garden. She's working in Belvedere Hall's secondary courtyard. Enter the large building at the top of the mesa ahead and follow the first hall on your right. Oh, yes. The vicar did ask me to direct you to him. How positively forgetful of me. He should be waiting for you in Belvedere Hall's main courtyard at the top of the stairs. The Artificer Laureate is head of the Department of Applied Scientism, overseeing the exemplars, or craftsmen, of our order. Weapons and technology all fall under her purview. Oh no, not at all. The presiding bishop routinely spends time in a sensory deprivation chamber to hone her mental faculties. Of course, she does seem to be logging more hours in the chamber of late, but I'm certain that's all part of the plan.
The rest of the Laureate Council is capable of managing affairs while the presiding bishop is occupied. Really, it's no reason for concern. Nothing in the garden is. Look around you. I don't see a battlefield. Do you? All conflict is transient in nature. To dwell on the negativity of a moment is to risk missing the opportunity of what comes next. Those in the garden have enough perspective to remain present and to focus on what matters: science and progress. And you for recognizing such quality of vision. But now, I fear I have kept you long past an ideal duration. May all your problems precede solutions.
Is it just me? Or does something seem... Oh, never mind.
Problem? Because I have a solution that requires very little computation.
You appear to present a low probability of risk. Please don't invalidate my calculation.
Cutting you off there, Charles. That's your third conviction today. People will start to worry.
I forgot to carry the water. Consistency in your work is wonderful. Consistency in playlists is not. Now for a real song.
Caffeine is proven to lead to many positive health and research outcomes.
Welcome to the CAF integration point. Will it be caffeine or convictions today? Convictions are statements which promote personal and professional confidence and well-being, leading to 22.9% more scientific breakthroughs in a given quarter. Interested? Before I can administer your conviction, I need to ask you a question. In what area of your life do you feel you need the most improvement? Personal or professional? But if you had to prioritize one area over the other? Expand on that for me. One day soon, you will evolve beyond an inappropriate attachment to material possessions and at last be free to acquire that which most eludes you: wisdom. Is that right? You'd be the first to admit as much. You know, I'm actually nearing the end of my shift. If you're amenable to continuing our chat somewhere more private, I think we could both benefit. Right this way. You must be curious why I asked for such a discreet rendezvous. Allow me to whet your appetite for intrigue a little further, shall I? I have adequate reason to believe the Order is conducting a mass experiment on the population of Laplace's garden. The Order is not cultivating its perfect, plan-abiding society through careful ideological pruning, as the laureates would have you believe. It's simple pharmacology. Put bluntly, they're regulating the emotions of everyone in Laplace's garden through drugs in the water supply. Why would the Order want to create a society of undistractable little academics whose only desire is to advance the plan? I wonder. I'm limiting my water intake and using other pharmaceuticals to combat the effects. It's not a perfect system, but it works adequately enough. It makes the mind quieter, like closing the door on a screaming crowd. It's not unpleasant. It'd be a lot more difficult to conduct my survey of the garden from outside the garden. Moderate your volume, please! No one here is in any immediate peril. Probably. The Order claims the subjects here supposedly consented to participate, but it was begun prior to the schism with the Protectorate, so who's to say? Regardless, if the Order has made some kind of pharmaceutical breakthrough, imagine how useful it might be to certain parties to know about it in advance. I represent a group of information traders who would pay well to get their hands on a sample of this drug. Interested? So you've heard of us? Good. That makes this easier. My primary task has been to watch the Order. But I'm confident my superiors would agree. Physical proof is of far greater value than mere rumor. Nothing nefarious, if that's the needle in your conscience. We only mean to study the drug and consider all of its many applications. I know that must read as terribly vague to you, but I'm not at liberty to provide more detail than that. All you need to do is enter water reconditioning and collect a sample of the drug. I believe they call it perspective. This passcode will give you access to the main terminal. Watch the guards patrol before making your way into the facility. If worst comes to worst, I wager Laureate Beckett also has a keycard on him, but that might be tricky to lift. Lately, he's been sitting near the fountains, performing his silly little breathing exercises. If he's not there, then he's likely in conference with the presiding bishop. Whatever you do, be discreet. I can't have any laureates asking questions about me. Understood? It's too diluted by the time it enters circulation. I need the unfiltered drug, which is only accessible to those working in water reconditioning. Outside of work, I have, let's call it an alternative inventory. You'll have to pay, of course, but I'm sure I have something that'll make your job a little easier. And I'd like to offload some of this merchandise. Sounds like a win-win.
On a scale of 1 to 100, how pleased are you with the garden in its current state? Please, try to capture your exact satisfaction to the nearest 10th integer. Oh, hello. Cogitate here often?
Not yet. Not yet. It is promising, but we still have to wait. We're
plays a colossal role in the Protectorate's military readiness and the oppression of their subject populace. Although Auntie's Choice have extended their corporate umbrella over Praetor, their foothold is insubstantial, their momentum small. Protectorate manufacturing
What is with the enormous behavior?
A scientician surplus. No more than what you need.
Those laypersons ever shower us with gratitude for not turning it against them? Of course not.
So ends this missive.
And now, additional data and/or music determined to facilitate cognition. Next up, well, the seers among
Welcome to the Scientician Surplus. I am the scientician in question. Any inquiries about the stock may be directed to me. Either you intend to buy or you intend to go without. It would be unethical for me to interfere with your decision-making process. It's there in the name, surplus. Please peruse with discernment.
What is with the anomalous behavior? Say, I observed that.
Every day treating sanes. The operating theater is not conducting viewing dissections at this time. That is not an invitation to return to your study and perform exploratory surgery on yourself or a willing volunteer, just to be clear. That is best answered through observation. Here, have a look.
That is not your property.
Every day. The operating that is not an invitation to return to your... That is best answer.
Strange to see all this vacant space after the overcrowding at Matriarch's Mercy. Plenty of room for refugees here. If only the Order administrants got their act together.
Access is not granted. Off you go. Unauthorized visitors are not authorized. Do I need to diagram that?
How did your hypothesis about the flowers fare?
Exposing them to melodic sound waves on a consistent basis did affect improvements on their overall growth.
And you controlled for the amount of carbon dioxide expelled from your mouth during these musical sequences?
More testing may be
How many digits in pi? How many numbers in line?
Hello. Farewell. Thank you for this sufficiently compact conversation.
Of several populations. Such travesty. A travesty. Tragedy. A horror. A horror.
I hope you have good news for me. I knew I had the right person for the job. You've saved me quite the headache. Your reward, as promised. Aw, wondering if you'll ever see me again? Precious. I'll remain in the garden a little while longer, but it would be best if we limited contact with one another. No offense. But who knows? The plan mystifies even the greatest minds. Perhaps our paths will intersect again someday. If it isn't my favorite collaborator. I thought I said we shouldn't be seen together. And I'd like to offload...